What up, Devil? Sensei Tutum here with another video for you. So, I guess this is supposed to be called Traditional Thursday. Well, today you're going to get Ethereum. And if I'm going to keep doing videos on Thursdays, we're going to have to call it Toots Thursday or some silly like that, because I'm not going to do equities every single week. Although very, very interested, or, not doing traditionals, although very interested in equities and Forex and all the commodities, all the markets. I like all of the markets. But I have my roots in crypto, and the few of you that like my opinion and want to hear it, like to hear my thoughts on crypto. And I've gotten some complaints lately that, hey, Toot, you're not really looking at alts anymore. And it's not that I'm not sharing stuff with you guys that, I'm holding back analysis. I just haven't been analyzing alts, to be quite honest with you, because a man only has so much time in the day. And since this crash back here, I've been quite interested in the equity markets, not just trading, which I'm doing, little swings here and there, but also getting together, longer term investment plans. Because if you, like me, still think that we're going to come back and at least test the previous lows of March in the equities, you're pretty excited about long-term prospects as far as bag loading, things like that. And, even if we don't, there's so many great trades in the equities right now. It's kind of a silly time. So I've only got so much time, and I have not been looking at alts. Even the big cap like these. I usually don't get down into the low cap shitters, but even these big caps. The last trade I took on Ethereum was down here at $90, $92 ish, and I sold at 140 something. Same night. Haven't looked back because just again. I've glanced at the chart, but nothing sings here. What do you see? We'll get into it. So, but that leads to the topic of this video. Is what I'm going to do here is not only am I going to give you Ethereum, but I'm going to give you a little bit of a freestyle, and you give us some feedback and see if you like it. If you, we'll get somebody to look in the comments, and if you hate it, then I won't do it again. But give you basically a fresh look at it. I'm not going to get too in-depth because I don't want to make the video go forever or give too much away. But we'll give you a nice surface level look of how you start to build an account. I will admit that I have looked at this briefly for a member about a week or two ago, and I've deleted off the chart, so I've forgotten all about it. And what I looked at the time was only algos, which we're going to go ahead and get into. So from an Elliott perspective, I didn't really do much work because just glancing at it, nothing stands out. But let's see if we can't dig something out. So first things first is obviously we zoom out some here and just look and see. We'll even go out to daily. Let's just see what kind of resistances and supports we've got. That's fairly interesting, actually. When I drew it through here, didn't expect to see that. We'll go ahead and leave that on there. Let's make it less thick. Oh, wait a second. It's not it is a line. Guys, my eyes are tripping. It looks, I see it like a dotted line. Let me know if you see that too. Okay, so draw that trend here. Clearly nothing on the support side to look at from a trend lines perspective. Let's see horizontal levels to check. This is something I'm always doing whenever I start a chart, and typically I'll do it. I'll spend a lot of time on it, but obviously for this video we won't. You'll see, and I don't discuss these. I don't do a lot of the videos on the public, but all the members, you guys, and I've talked about it before, but you'll see these like light blue and dotted lines on my chart. And that's all I'm doing is I'm going back, checking prior important pivots, important levels, and just wicking them off for support and resistance levels, because they are majorly important. Even these ones back here in time. As you see, look at these wicks here. And then, oh, look at that. Comes back down, and there was clearly some sort of non-acceptance at this level. It happened again. It happened again. It happened again. Happened again right there. It's happening now. We're consolidating, which is actually damn interesting. Just this trend line and this horizontal level are just actually making me think, because if anybody, spoiler alert, I won't get into it, but I have a, let's say, near-term bearish outlook on Bitcoin. and this consolidation doesn't necessarily jive with that. I see that it has been a little bit non-phasic with Bitcoin the last couple days, which is interesting. So, you know, back in the good times in crypto, we got that. If you've only been here for a year or two, you haven't really seen that where, you know, and that's another reason I don't look at alts as much anymore, because they're just doing what Bitcoin's doing. And that can be useful at times when you're trading, you know, and of course I'll do that. I'll, you know, let's say that ETH and Litecoin are setting up for the exact same trade. I might take it on both because one might rip 100% or, you know, 20%, and the other one might rip 30%. So, you know, you're kind of hedging yourself a little bit. You might, you know, limit your profit if you just pick the winner. But when you don't know, sometimes I like to trade it that way. Sip of tea there. Sorry, guys. Getting over a little head thing, so need to keep the tea in. All right, so just looking at that, we won't get into too much more on the macro side because I don't see anything that's going to affect us directly. But that's very useful information. Oh, the VPVR. I put it up. Might as well look at it real quick. Oh, look at that. And I drew this before that even went up. High volume node. Not shocking. It's probably even there because of current price action as well. We got a low volume here. Let's just go ahead and wick that too. Always like to wick those. We got a low volume here with a lot of pivot points there. So we're going to wick that as well. Right there. Okay, let's zoom in. All right, so clearly we have and strong move down, strong move up, strong move down, strong move up. I mean, it's not really telling its hand other than it continues to reject here. Of course, you know, we've gone through it. We could go through it again, although all this consolidation tells me that if you're building up and you do break through, that is a bullish sign. It's interesting. Let's see here. This did not create a new low. Create a low relative to this. So this could potentially be the new, you know, just thinking about what kind of context we could get here. You could get something that comes down relatively and, you know, at this point and doesn't create a new low. I don't know. Do I see something here that would create a new low? Potentially. I mean, obviously we got to look at what this is, right? I don't remember what my macro is. To be honest, I feel like we could actually other than what I just showed, we could get something like that. Oh yeah, a 1-to-1 type move, take us down to that 40-ish area. I know that said 26. Don't freak out, but we've talked about 40 a lot, at least around the Discord. The first video I ever recorded, I don't know how long ago that was now, well over a year at this point. That I never actually shared. Only Sam saw it. I had predicted 40. The bottom of the bear market for ETH would be, I think, $46, and we could eventually get there. There have been times where I thought, oh, we'll never hit that, but let me tell you, $46 all in. That's the bottom of the bear market, though. Anyway, let's see here. I'm not gonna. So yeah, this could be another A, B, C to finish like a multiple correction. If this is motive, we could see, because we did not create a new low here, we got a 3-wave there. If this is motive, that we could have motive wave, corrective wave. So we do have reasons that we could go down and not create a low, and reasons we could go down and create a low. So we're gonna have to look at the context of this wave. And, you know, if you're at the trading degree, which is, you know, probably for most of you guys and myself, is like the hourly. So look, I'm trying not to make this too long and boring. And you know, this we've laid the groundwork for what we're doing here. So we see this level, like even how much action it's gotten when we zoom in, and we're above it now. So that should be considered support, right? And of course, resistance here. And if we just look at the current moves, we've got the trend. You can just draw a trend line there. Trend line here. So what's interesting is that we got external to this whole structure on what could be considered a 3-ish wave move without going and putting an Elliott Wave count on it yet. But man, that was shallow. If you're calling that corrective for the whole thing, it's quite shallow. Didn't even get to the 50. Now that happens a lot in the stonks, you'll see it, especially the indices, but not so much in crypto. Once you get external of a big structure like this, usually you're at least going to pay for it in time, if not in price. So we haven't paid for it in price or time very much yet. Might seem long, but again, here we were squeezing on between this trend line and this trend line. Here we are squeezing again. Last time this trend line won. And this one was much more significant than this one. So that is I would say, a tick for the bears. First tick we've looked at so far. We've got a couple bullish ticks. One being this consolidation at this point, and the other that we are consolidating under resistance. And I guess the other would be that we've had we broke structure and didn't die. That's another bullish point. And of course, we're above this line currently, which, it's not huge point of on the bull side, but it is. So before we get into an Elliott Wave count, let's just look at some obvious swings. You had the giant move down, so let's try from this swing. It looks like all bear side algos would be broken. Let's just verify. Well, let's see. Got through the 65, wick through. If you're playing the 707 game, and I'd like the 707 for algos, you do potentially still have a bear side in right here, which would bring you down to target $40. I keep telling you guys, $40 could be a thing. Although I will say, I do not expect Bitcoin to break this low back in March. I don't expect that. No, I'm sorry. It could break that low. I don't expect it to break the low it made here, which this has broken that low, whereas Bitcoin did not. I don't expect Bitcoin to break that low back there, but not relevant to this video. And I never use one chart to analyze another, but Bitcoin is kind of your flag bearer in the crypto space. So we have the 707 not broken, 65 broken. Still could be a bear side algo here. But we would have broken this guy for sure from this swing. And as you can see, there definitely would have been algos playing it, and they got killed because rejection, defense, and then they die. And then of course you can check this swing where we killed that one, and then I would say this swing, which is right south of the 707 still. So we can break above this again, being south of this, and still be facing some pretty serious resistance, especially with this line we had wicked off previously. This was that low volume node. A lot of times price hits those and it moves quick in one direction or the other. A lot of times they can be, although with all this consolidation, but a lot of times it can be, rejection. One way or another, price should be moving fast in this area. So if it breaks out, with all this consolidation, break hard or just reject right back down and be a fake out. So that's some consideration. And this is kind of what I was highlighting for the members on a recent Bitcoin and an educational only video. You kind of get these squeezes sometimes where account's not necessarily, prevalent, obvious. And if account's not obvious, to me, it's useless. Just my personal opinion. Then you get kind of like a 50-50 mentality. If you want to trade that, great. I'm not about a coin flip kind of trade. I want to have some odds in my favor. But usually when you play them, you get a big move one way or the other. So it can be fun or really sad. So let's get in and take a look and see if we have any sort of count. Oh, no, let's go ahead and look at algos first. How long are we now? 14 minutes. Okay, maybe we'll only do algos in a brief Elliott Wave, because I can tell you right now, to find an Elliott Wave count I like would spend a lot of time. Let's just go ahead and briefly touch on that first. Let's just count some swings here. I see a 1, 2, 3 moves, 3 swing move, down, overlap. Call that another 3. We'll do red for correctives. This is like accounting 101 kind of thing, by the way. You can just Man, I hate that. Well, I don't like this move as any sort of an impulse together. I mean, it even overlaps. So I guess, I mean, I can tell you right now, if we start getting accounts, this is violating guidelines, but I'm just identifying swings. So something like that. I don't see any clear 5-wave moves. I see a lot of 3-wave moves. So could this be a multiple zigzag? W, X, Y, X, Z? Sure. Now, again, this would violate guidelines. We won't get into which, but channeling guidelines for multiple zigzags is what it would violate. So yeah, I don't love it, but I certainly don't love any motive wave count here because we have this as a clear 3-wave move. I mean, it probably channels beautifully. It does as a perfect zigzag. Could we have this? Yeah, I mean, we could have had this. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's 3 waves here, 3 waves here. I'm sorry. A, B, C. Do that, and then, oops. And then we'll just do another wave. So that's, fuck. Here, I'll just label it. Sorry, guys. Old Toot's not Sam on the videos, is he? Let's say 1, 2, 3, potentially. And then that's a 1, 2. Okay, so X there. I don't love that at all, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A, B, C out of here. Yeah, I don't love that at all, but that could be it. And then you got an ABC zigzag, this ugly impulse. A, B, C, something like this. Yeah, it's not pretty. Either way you look at it, it's not pretty, and typically not pretty means corrective. It's certainly not a diagonal of any sort. So yeah, I mean, it looks like a corrective type of wave, but what if we had off of it? I mean, this looks like a correction here. So maybe this WXY, and we're putting in another X that could be, let's say 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's not a flat. Way too shallow to be a flat. It's A, B, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's what it's got to be. So that's a 3-wave move to there. A, B, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A, B, C. Zigzag. So corrective down. And then off that, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, that looks more like a 1, 2, 3, A, or W. 1, 2. Yeah. And this is a multiple zigzag here, potentially, just because the cleanest wave count for it, I would say, is A, B, C, X, A, B, C. So the way you would count this wave here is, I see straight move up, and then I got a clear 5 wave after it. So that's what sort of makes this my A, B, C. Just counting swings. I could see how people might want to say that this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Channeling guidelines would show you that that's probably pretty bunk. Yeah, it doesn't meet the lower channel on the temporary. I mean, base trend is not important, and plus you have a clear 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if you don't count this, then you have a 1, 2, 3, which you can't have an impulse. So yeah, corrective. Another 1, 2, 3, corrective. So maybe that is what's happening here. Maybe we're getting one of these guys, count-wise. W, X, Y. Oh, wait, let's go to. I don't even keep it on the bar because they're so uncommon. W, X, Y, X, Z. What if we're doing that? Which is interesting because I do expect to break down on Bitcoin still. If these two charts got out of phase, that would be pretty cool. So this could very well be that in play with the move to the upside. Just look at accounts here, and that is not. I'm telling you, the next move I have is I'm expecting a 5-wave move down on Bitcoin, like starting any time now, if not already started. And I'm recording this evening before you're going to see it. Yeah, so potential count. Actually, let's not delete that. We'll just delete this. Okay, so potential count there. I would not put any degree of confidence in this, guys. It's not a high quality count. And like I said earlier, if it's not a high quality count, it's not a super simple, obvious count, then I don't put much stock in it. It's just the way I trade Elliott. There's too many good counts out there to put money on against, kind of trashy counts. Though this really does look like 3-wave move, 3-wave move, 3-wave move, 3-wave move, 3-wave move. This really does look like a triangle, and those are consolidation patterns that continue the trend. So now taking along out of this, a little bit better than relying on some sort of, which if it does break up, I would have to say it's more than likely this, because how do you get I don't know how you would get this as like a 1, 2, 3, and this is a 4. Again, to get a good count on it, I'd have to look for a long time. That's something I would want to look for potentially, is how is this a 3-wave and this is a 4? But it doesn't look pretty. Let's put it that way. All right, so we do have a count that potentially could show us breaking up. Now, if we have a finished WXY here, obviously we know that multiple zigzags to the Z extreme, the triple zigzags, are much, much, much rarer than double zigzags. So that in of itself would just give you the indication that this could potentially be going down, some sort of distribution pattern in here. We'd really want to get down and count this, but it does seem corrective. I mean, it really does seem like a triangle, but they're, you got to be sure on those things, and they are so tricky. And again, this video is already getting long, and I do want to look at those algos really quick before I go. So we're going to leave the count at this. And let's go ahead and check these bull side algos. That one, no, it would have broke to the downside. So then you pull swing here. Same thing here, wicked out. And they just keep re-entering. So what's another good pull? It looks like they might have got on the right side right here. Oh, yeah. They got on the right side right here. Look at that. Fill, defend, wicked out to target, reaction. Let's see, 618, -1. These are target 2 and target 3. See here, target 2 just goes directly through, doesn't make target 1. So we blasted target 2. When that happens, typically you want to pull from previous swing high. We clearly had the algo that took that play, support. Then it wicked through and died. So that bull side died. Let's see, what if we take this swing low to this swing high? That surely would have been in play as well. Look at that. Support at the 50, golden corner pocket, target remains. So we do have a bull side target there. This one on the lower degree would have broken. No, we have a lower degree algo as well. And then let's see, like a post triangle type of thrust. That we, again, we'd have to confirm that you only expect a post triangle thrust on a wave 4 triangle. A, B, C. Got to draw this properly to draw the thrust measurement. A, B, C. Still playing D. D hasn't happened. D isn't done yet. but we'll assume. We'll assume it'll damn near break that. So we're just going to draw it like this. Something like that to the origin of the triangle. And then you just take the length of the origin from the proposed E. We're roughing it here, guys. Eyeballing it. Say roughly here. And then 1 to 1. The extension, basically, it's this length projected from the E. So if it is a wave 4 triangle, you have a target way up here, way beyond the lower degree, all of the lower degree targets, below the second larger degree target. So you could reasonably put and then remember we had this low volume node. Definitely want the box to be on that low volume node. Relatively big box, but that would be a nice projected wave, potential wave. I don't think that it is a wave 4 triangle. I think it would be an X. Unless I can get a valid 1, 2, 3 and then make this a 4 impulse count. Even if it was, it's such a big 4 magnitude-wise. It's big X magnitude-wise, but the X feels better than the 4 in that regard. So, yeah. I mean, to be honest, I think that this is going to fuck about within this quote-unquote triangle, and it's clearly going to break hard one way or the other. And funnily enough, maybe Bitcoin, maybe my projection on Bitcoin comes down after this D wave finishes and only goes to the E for here. It's a much smaller move, and then they move up in unison together, whereas Bitcoin put in a nice little 5 down. We get a small move here, break out of the triangle to the north side. Or again, usually when you're trying to count triangles this way, you're generally wrong. So I could very well be wrong and it just breaks down. I would not be overly surprised at that at all. Again, this is like these are one of those coin flip plays out of here. And, this could still take, knowing triangles, it could take weeks to play. But, a week would feel pretty okay. It could take only a couple days. But yeah, this could potentially play over the weekend. Could play maybe next time this week, or this time next week. Sorry. But as far as 50-50 plays go, if you have one field one way or the other, I'd say to the north side on this one. And that's interesting. It's making me think here. I'm freestyling this. It's it doesn't jive with Bitcoin, and it doesn't have to, but quite interesting. All right, well, I won't take any more of your time tonight. Toot out.